I was in the Ford GT350R, so it's absolute Bronco, so much power, big fat tyres and downforce to control that, and had the best time basically. So it was 3 days of hanging on particularly through the walled section, some nice sideways moments, and keeping it out of the barriers. But it's fantastic. But I've actually spent more time in the standard GT Mustang. It's great that that's coming to Europe, to the UK. I think people will love it because the muscle cars that came out in sort of mid-2000s, with all the American muscle cars that were sort of reborn, they were quite sloppy still. They were, very soft suspension. It had power, but there wasn't much finesse there. And this really is the car that I think we've been waiting for 10 years. It's much more European handling style. The centre of gravity is low, the weight distribution is great, so you really sit in the middle with control over what you're doing. And I've had a whale of a time in the lesser power but still powerful GT car.
It's a very important choice that Ford is using there, because tradition would say we do a body on frame, pickup truck based, or even a 3-row SUV at the top of our range, but we're not selecting that. Edge is very stylish. It's a 2-row. It's based on CD platform, the same as Mondeo, so it's really fun to drive. We have a great diesel engine lineup, right in left-hand drive for the first time. This is truly the first step in Edge going global. The Edge that's sold in China is different than the Edge we're going to sell here in Europe. And this is really, in a way, our flagship along with the Vignale Mondeo.
What you guys can see in the background, there's an amazing simulator, so whenever you hear a little bit of an engine sound, I was kind of hoping that we could have done this interview in the simulator, right? Because that would be just the perfect merger of everything,
That would have really been forward thinking. I agree with you. Yeah.
This would be one way of how you could get involved into this gamification, but just tell us how people in general can get involved in this.
I mean, games are already part of our everyday life, and they're, as the mobile devices that we carry around with us are getting stronger and stronger, we're carrying the game devices with us. And one of the recent trends is location-based gaming, looking from geocaching to Ingress, the big Google game. This becomes more and more popular. So we think that especially using these mobile devices, using the geodata that you're generating all the time, accessing the data stream that is generated by traffic that comes from the cities, is giving us a very good environment to use these data and integrate it into complex systems. This is what games are. We set up rules, we use complex systems, and then we try to engage the players and generate some kind of fun. In this topic that we're talking about here, of course, it also makes sense. So it's not only fun, but it's also helping to have a more seamless traveling in the cities, to avoid traffic jams, for instance, to be more ecological, and to interconnect the different modes of transport.
And Hilton, if I could ask, I mean, I think the situation for a lot of people is they understand about four-wheel drive systems and what they mean in terms of off-road capability. But can you say a little bit about all-wheel drive systems and what that means for customers that, say, buy a Mondeo or an S-Max? How does that enhance their driving experience?
Quite a great deal. I'm personally a big fan of what I call road-going 4x4. I've driven so many cars over the last 20 years, and really having all-wheel drive, the ability to put the power down on all four corners of the car it's only when you experience it that you realize how useful it is. So obviously in bad weather you have to make an overtaking maneuver, the road's not very smooth, there's cameras going the other way. It'll be 4 or 5 seconds when you're overtaking and you realize, wow, this car is really stable despite the weather, despite the road conditions. It's sitting down, you feel very confident, you know where it's going. And once you've experienced that a few times, it's quite hard to give it up, really.